Fight Commentary Breakdowns. I have promised you guys for many years that I would go visit Choy Li Fut. Choy Li Fut is how I say it in Mandarin, but of course, to respect their southern tradition, I'm going to have them say it in Cantonese. But I'm at a Choy Li Fut school. Shout out Xavier Santana and his crew who brought me here. And in Mandarin, I would say Li Zhaoxiong. Li Zhaoxiong Choy Li Fut Wu Guan. But of course, that's not how you say it in Cantonese. So anyways, Josh here will be our guide, and then we're going to interview someone else after Josh. Yes, but Josh, so how do we say your school in Cantonese?
Choy Li Fut.
Okay.
That's it.
And Li Zhaoxiong, what would we say in Cantonese or English or whatever?
I just always call it Choy Li Fut.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
The founder of the school.
The founder is Li Koon.
Okay, so you guys say Li Kung.
Yeah,
okay, Li Zhaoxiong in Mandarin, Li Kung.
Yep.
Okay, I see.
There you go.
So this school's the oldest school, Choy Li Fut wise, in Florida, right?
Yeah, if not the States. I know Li Koon. Well, let's see. Obviously he started teaching back in Hong Kong, where he was from. He opened the school in '91. And so I'm not sure about throughout the country, but definitely in Florida.
In Florida, yeah,
sure.
and that's what I wrote in the descriptions. Okay, I wanted to make sure.
Perfect.
Yeah. So when did you get involved with this school?
I started in 1997. So yes, long while.
And was it always here?
No, this is the second location. Okay. The original location, not far, about 15 minutes from here. Same county though.
Wow.
So,
talk to me about how you discovered this school. I mean, for those of you, look at the backdrop, right? What I'm not showing you is the ceilings are so high. And it's almost like you can imagine someone could jump all, I'm just kidding. People can't do that in real life. But like, it's like, makes you feel like there's endless possibilities, right? That's why high ceilings are so good.
You got to have a high ceiling in Kungfu because we have all these long weapons. And we destroy ceilings. Yeah.
So tell me about your first day or how you stumbled on this.
Yeah, no problem. So I was in high school. I was a senior, 18 years old. I knew I wanted to do something. I wanted to do a martial arts. I did my research in the county, in Broward, it's our county. I researched all the top schools of every discipline. So, and I got a list together, and I went to the school, checked it out, talked to the sifus or the masters or the senseis, took classes. I went to all of them, every discipline, taekwondo, judo, jiu-jitsu, aikido, I mean, you name it, I went to it all. And I was about to settle on a school that I really liked, and a buddy of mine was like, why don't you try Kung Fu? And I was like, Kung Fu? What's that? I'm like, I just know Kung Fu from, Sunday morning is a Kung Fu theater. So I was like, all right, whatever. I want to say that I went to all of them and I made an a good educated decision. So I found this school. It was the only one in the county at the time, so that was pretty easy. And I tell you this, as soon as I walked through the door, I knew this was it. I was blown away. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like nothing else that I've seen. I stayed, I watched a kids class, I watched the adult class, and then I watched the instructor class, and that was really what just sold me. I was like, I want to be like these guys. This is legit. It looks practical. It looks like it's easy to learn, pick up, and use relatively quickly. It's not really complicated. Our style is a pretty simple, easy style. It's a street fighting style, and very, very just practical. And I knew right away. So that was it. That was it. The rest is history. Signed up that day.
And when I walked in with Xavier Santana and Xavier's wife Lynn, I saw they were sparring. So you guys are sparring, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So obviously, unfortunately, some Chinese martial arts got simplified, reduced to the point where they weren't sparring. Now, when you walked in that day, I bet you saw sparring, right? They
Absolutely.
were sparring.
Yeah, that was what I loved. I did some grappling, but I didn't really, any of the schools, I didn't really see any fighting. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted to learn self-defense, practical self-defense. And the only way you know if you're good is if you're fighting, so.
Yeah, even Bruce Lee, he gave a lot of credit to Choy Li Fut. He did. Because, during the Kung Fu Muay Thai rivalry days, the only people that could take on Muay Thai were the Choy Li Fut people.
That's right.
So, yeah, tell me about what classes were like. Like, what was your first class like, if you remember?
I was just, I was, like, I was just overwhelmed. I mean, it was the first class. I couldn't believe I was here. I was doing it. Obviously, I did some research more of this after I joined. I did some more research at school, and I was like, this is legit. Unfortunately, I joined right after the original Sifu Lee Kun Hong opened. Well, I joined right after he died. So he died in '96, I believe, '95 or '96. So I joined just after he had passed away. So I never got to meet him, unfortunately. But his brother Lee Su Hung came over from Hong Kong to keep the school going and keep it in the family. And he's great, and I've been with him ever since, and he's still here today. And yeah, I just feel like it's just legit. It's real.
And your training, was it, I guess let's break it down. Like, let's break down percentage. Was it like, let's say 25% basics, 25% forms, 25% sparring, 25% conditioning? How was each class kind of structured?
Well, I'll tell you, and this is, I continue the same tradition to this day. Like, we don't keep it simple for the new people. We don't dumb it down. The new people got to come up. They got to, it's either sink or swim. Like we want to keep pushing ourselves and progressing. And the majority of students have been here a while, so we want to keep pushing them. We're not going to hold them down because we got some new students. So, like, we don't have a instructor or an advanced class anymore per se, but yeah, we're going to help the new students. We're going to guide them. All of our instructors are great. We're going to encourage them. We're going to help them. We're going to give them one-on-one treatment, but we're not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. It's pretty advanced right from the beginning. Like we're going advanced, and we're going to push everybody, and they always do well.
So what could a beginner student expect here? Let's say their first day. What is it like? Okay, first you learn how to bow, then you do your stances. What exactly? So give me a little bit of a breakdown.
Well, yeah, I mean, we go through class like as if it's nothing. People learn quick. People learn quick. They follow. They see. They're next to. We'll pair them next to maybe a more advanced or a senior student, or maybe a instructor, up and coming instructor. So we'll pair them with them. So they'll be by them. They'll shadow them for a little bit until they're comfortable. But by the end of the first or second class, they got it. They're ready to go.
I see. And so, for example, what do you start with? What do you start with? Do you start with some drills? What do you start with?
Yep. We always stretch. That's very important. We spend 15 minutes almost of the class stretching. You stretch. You reduce the possibility of injury by so much. I forget the percentage, but it's a very high number. So we really focus on stretching, and then we get into some bag work. We'll do stance training. We'll do some techniques, and we usually partner up. So we'll partner up. Somebody holds the handbags, and we'll work with a partner. And then on a regular Kung Fu class, and then we'll go into forms. And we break, and people start training on their own. Find a little corner of the school. They start training. An instructor goes around, bounces from student to student, watches them, show them some new moves. And they know where to pick up their last form, whether it's a weapon or hand form. They just start practicing from where they left off. Instructor will watch them, critique them, correct them, and then show them some new stuff. And then that's a normal Kung Fu class. Kickboxing, the kickboxing classes are a little bit different. We're a little more relaxed. We can wear shorts. We have tank tops that we wear for kickboxing, which is really we really do practice Sanshao, but a lot of people don't know Sanshao, so we just call it kickboxing. But it is Sanshao. We don't do any ground stuff, but we do takedowns. So we'll practice. Same thing. We'll get right into stretching. We'll do some stuff to calisthenics to get the heart pumping and the juices flowing, and then we get into techniques. We'll spend about 15 minutes or 20 minutes on techniques. And then we get right into fighting. We're fighting every class. Wow. We're sparring.
And do you encourage all the students to not just do the Kung Fu, but the kickboxing, the Sanshou?
Absolutely. We all do. This school is a fighting school first and foremost. Forms are great, and forms help your fighting, your sparring. But that shouldn't really ever be the focus. Forms are great. Forms are traditional. and again, they help strengthen your core, your legs for fighting. But the focus should always be fighting. You come to Kung Fu, you come to Choy Li Fut to learn self-defense, practical self-defense, and that it's only done in fighting and sparring.
Yeah. And what about the weapons? Weapons, I assume, are just forms, right? No sparring with weapons.
Yep, all forms. We have all the traditional weapons you can see behind us: the pitchforks, the canes, the benches right here, staffs, spears, all kinds of different swords. Yeah.
By the way, I have featured some Choy Li Fut bench stuff. It's amazing. Because I mean, think about it. It's self-defense back in there. Everyone had a bench, right?
Practical.
Yeah.
You got it right there, ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, and I know, and viewers who watch me know that Choy Li Fut is one of the most formidable styles of Kung Fu. So why was it not known? I'll be honest with you. When I was in China, I was in Sichuan, right? So Sichuan, Southwest China. Okay. I'd never heard of Choy Li Fut.
Really?
I didn't hear Choy Li Fut until 2020.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I'm a Kung Fu guy.
That's funny.
So what happened? What happened to this disconnect?
Yeah, I don't know. It's only like 150 years old, the style. So as far as Kung Fu goes, it's still one of the newer, it's one of the baby systems out there when you compare it to like Hung Gar and Shaolin Kung Fu and all these other styles that have been around for thousands of years. So it's still one of the baby systems. It's just I don't know. It's just it's like got a cult following. It's not huge, and I like that because a lot of times it gets commercialized when it gets big and blows up, and you lose the authenticity, the traditional, the real stuff. So.
I will say this Wuguan Dojo, as some of you would call it, is the coolest. I've never seen a place with this big a ceiling. I will say, I think if this art got too commercialized, we wouldn't see a amazing dojo like this. Right. It's awesome. Yeah. So maybe it was by design, maybe it was by accident that Choy Li Fut just didn't spread as much as maybe some of the other systems that we know so much. Now, the other thing could just be maybe we need to have a movie like Jet Li Shaolin Temple, but about Choy Li Fut. I mean, from my understanding, Josh, please add on. Choy Li Fut is, you could almost argue, it was like one of the original MMA systems in China. They literally put together different sects, different clans of thought into a system. Right. So it was like a hybridized system. That's why it's a baby system, but that's why it's so effective. Because you have Cai Jia, you got Li Jia, and you got Shaolin in there. So Fu, right? Fu is like the Shaolin part.
Yeah, it's southern. It's a southern style, but it's got a lot of northern stuff in it. The northern kicks are in there. I would say hands maybe 60-40, maybe 55-45. Like it's a good combination of hands and feet. Yeah. You're not getting one or just the other, but yeah, strong on both.
The other thing, and we'll definitely have Luke weigh in on this too, the other thing I've heard from some viewers is that part of the reason why Choy Li Fut isn't spread as wide as other systems is because it's too complex. There's too many forms, there's too much to learn in Choy Li Fut, so that's why. It's almost like it got defeated by the fact that it's authentic, it's formidable, but it's too complicated for it's almost like the system was designed not to be commercialized, if that makes sense. What do you think about that?
Could be, yeah. The forms are extensive. There are probably hundreds of forms. If you take into the weapons and everything else, oh my gosh, it's a lot. But I will say this, the fighting part of it it's pretty easy. It's practical, it's very simple. We don't do any, jumping, spinning stuff. I mean, it's straightforward. It's a long range style. I'm tall, so it's good for me, but I love the long range stuff. Nothing like Wing Chun or any of the, the close quarter stuff. I like it. So it's a long range, and it's just, I think it's easy to pick up and use. I think somebody can actually use this in real practical self-defense, like on the street, after maybe 4 or 5 months studying this. You can use this.
I 100% agree. I mean, so many matches, I featured this in the past. We have the Choy Li Fut guys dominate. It's like, I'm so glad I'm here. Let's talk about the system. Do you guys have sashes and stuff like that, or is it? So tell me about that.
Yeah. So we keep it traditional. It's one color sash. We don't do the different color sash things. It's basically, which is essentially a belt system, but we don't do that. You know, we do differentiate levels by the students have different writing, different colored writing on the shirt. That's kind of how we differentiate where we're at level wise. But the sashes is all the same, and it's really actually hard to tell who's what by looking at them. You should be able to tell the level of somebody by their fighting, by their kung fu, by their skills, not what kind of belt they're wearing.
I 100% agree with you, and that's what got me to kind of sour with a lot of these systems, because even Kung Fu systems that got too commercialized, they would borrow the belt system from, let's say, karate or taekwondo, and then it was exactly that. It's like you would have people who like acted like they were so cool, but like they weren't even as skilled as you. It was like, it was so bad. So I guess what I'm learning from you guys is like, it's more, okay, how does this person spar? How does this person do the Kung Fu? It's less about the sash, less about what's on the shirt.
Exactly, yeah. We definitely keep it traditional that way. We probably lose a little business that way because people do like the whole belt system thing and they that flash and stuff. But we're not going to sacrifice on a tradition there.
Yeah, I love it. And we have a viewer here, Chuan. It's either Lu or Long, but anyways, this guy has been doing Choy Li Fut since 2010, so that's pretty cool. So you have another long time,
excellent.
Choy Li Fut.
I wonder where he's at.
Yeah, I wonder. Let me click on his account. Let's see if we can figure out where he is. We're gonna go to his channel. We're clicking on your channel, my man. Oh, he's commented on a lot of my.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. I'm so sorry. I read your name wrong, but it's like it's hard to like think and read. He's a Cantonese, I can tell.
Oh.
It's traditional Chinese,
cool.
so sometimes I have trouble reading it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about you. What's your teaching style? Like, I mean, we mentioned it briefly in the beginning.
Yep.
What have you sort of brought in from your Western culture? Everyone teaches unique, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about your teaching style.
Well, I'm high energy. Go. I mean, our class is only an hour, sometimes an hour and 15 minutes, so it's got to be go nonstop. Quick breaks to get a sip of water, but we're right back at it. I'll put some music on. I blasted music in here just to help get the energy up. Usually some kind of like EDM or something techno, something like that.
Yeah.
High beat, high. Gets just to keep people going. But it's nonstop, and I'm like an encourager, so I like to motivate people by encouraging them. Like when I see good things, I'm quick to call it out and great job and yeah, like that. That's me. That's my style.
I see. And I guess this is the perfect segue to introduce Luke. So, what is Luke's teaching style from your? By the way, I will say, while Josh was talking about, Luke was doing some awesome forms. I was like, that's the type of stuff I love seeing. So, anyways, we'll introduce Luke. But yeah, tell me about Luke.
Yeah, Luke's, man, he's the glue right now at this school, man. He's holding it together. Sifu and his wife are out of town. They're in Hong Kong, actually, and he's holding it down. He's here every day. He's the man. Yeah, he's also a lot like me. Go, very energetic. Keep the energy up, and we like to teach by example. Both of us. We're in there. We're doing that. We're hitting the bags. We're doing it. We're doing the technique. We teach it, but we're doing the technique as well. We're not just standing there watching. Up front. We're in there. We're doing it. So yeah.
Cool.
I'll let him tell you more. You ready, Luke?
So, anyways, guys,
Yes.
This was Josh. We'll have him back, man. We'll definitely.
I love it.
You guys are always invited, even
Thank
if
you.
when I'm not here, you guys can Zoom me and
Awesome.
we can
love
do
it.
more interviews.
Great
because
meeting you, man. Thank
Viewers have been wanting Choy Li Fut featured more for so long, and
wow.
I personally have been wanting to feature Choy Li Fut because
shoot.
I've seen it beat Wing Chun, I've seen it beat Ba Zi Chuan, I've seen it beat Muay Thai. It's like. Before I discovered Choy Li Fut, I thought Sanda, was the only thing. But no, like there was something that's been around for 150 years, however long, that was able, because they stuck to, hey, this is what works. There's tradition, there's form, but like you get punched in the face. It's unfortunate, but that's how you learn, right?
That's right. That's right. It's great meeting you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Here's Luke.
All right, guys, we're gonna have Luke. So, all right, so this is Luke, and let me just make sure he's on camera. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so this is Luke. He was the one that was showing me some stuff earlier, so I know Luke is very knowledgeable.
Yep.
So, Luke, tell me, when did you discover the school?
So I discovered this school, I want to say around 2009, 2010. At the time, I was still extremely young, which gives you a hint maybe how old I am. So at the time, I had two options: do swimming classes or do Kung Fu, because I used to live right around the corner from the school. So, being around the age, maybe 4-ish, swimming isn't your best friend. So it was Kung Fu. And then ever since then, I've been here.
Wow. Do you remember what your first day of class was like?
Yeah, no, I remember my first day at class very good. One of the reasons being my parents just dropped me off and left. So it was kind of a, learn for yourself kind of deal. But I remember walking in the doors, Master Lee, he was teaching the class at the time. He was leading all the kids through basic stance form. So I remember just seeing everybody doing the stance. It was very loud, vibrant. The movements, and how the form flowed was something that I've never seen before. So that really grasped my attention.
I see. When did you start falling in love with this? Or was it the first day you fell in love with Tai Li Fut?
I would say it was probably after the second week. The first week was just like anything else. When you start something new, you're a little skeptical, a little shy. But once you get into it, you really, if you really like it, you'll fall in love with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, what was the journey like for you? For example, did you want to one day become an instructor? Did you one day want to use this system, let's say, whether to defend yourself or to, let's say, even step into the ring? What was your goal with this?
So, to be honest with you, my goal when I first started wasn't really clear. It came over time as I seen different things. For instance, the line dance team performing, or even after the kids class, when the adult class would come in, or the kickboxing class would start, just seeing how every class was structured differently, and, the more advanced techniques and things that they did really stood out a lot to me. And, it really came as I progressed with martial arts, almost finishing our school's curriculum, which is at 10 different levels, but every level has maybe 5 or 6 forms. So, that's kind of how I fell in love with it. Is like, okay, you learn one thing and now, damn, somebody else just did a form that's in that curriculum. I want to learn that too.
Yeah, so I asked Josh about this. Obviously, Tai Li Fut could be considered a more complex system, especially form-wise, right?
Yes.
So where do you stand on that? Why do you think there's so many forms in Tai Li Fut?
So, one of the reasons there's so many forms in Choy Li Fut is because there's also 2 different styles of it. Remember, there is the, I believe, boxing Choy Li Fut and then Hong Sing Choy Li Fut. So there's already 2 different styles of it. And then yet alone, depending, which style you follow or which school you train with, they all teach from different lineages. One of the biggest lineages is from our school, Lee Koon Hung lineage, which many schools throughout the U.S. teach till this day, which is by far one of the most complex Choy Li Fut curriculums, because it has so many forms, not even just Choy Li Fut forms, but forms from many different styles incorporated in it as well.
And the founder of your school was a student of a pretty famous, right? Pretty famous actor.
So essentially, yes. Mr. Han from the Enter of the Dragon, our Grandmaster Lee Koon Hung, he actually trained with him for a good while in Hong Kong and learned many forms from him, which till this day we still teach and practice in our school, which I do not believe many other schools do that or know the forms.
Yeah. Now, obviously you've been here for a while, just like Josh has. Do you have a favorite form or a favorite part of Tai Li Fut?
I don't have essentially a favorite form, but one of the things that I do like the most within all the forms are the kicks, the kicking techniques, the high kicks in the forms. Given that I am actually very flexible with my kicks, it actually is very fun to go and demonstrate a form and be able to kick very high, and everybody's like, oh my God, wow. Or even self doing a partner or weapon form, just doing the movements after doing it for so long, it becomes like, knowing your daily routine in your life. It's simple, and you get creative with it and it flows.
Yeah, exactly. And viewers, I'll probably record some shorts real quickly with the two of them. So I'll get some of their forms because they look awesome. At least I saw him. I don't know about Josh. Maybe we'll get you guys to compete or something. But so where do you think the future is for Choy Li Fut? Because I talked about this with Josh, and I think we both agree it's not as commercialized, which is good. This system is not just formidable, but it's stayed very, very authentic, right? But like, a problem with that is potentially, what if it doesn't get that interest, doesn't get the next generation? What do you think on that?
I think Choy Li Fut will always carry on no matter what, just because it's such a big style. And then not only that too, it may not be popular amongst everybody in the States, but overseas, Brazil, that is a very big hub for Choy Li Fut. And especially, following the Lee Kun Hung lineage, the Hung Sing Choy Li Fut lineage, Brazil is one of those places. And then everybody knows, of course, Hong Kong, where Choy Li Fut practically was, that was their style.
Yeah.
Wing Chun and Choy Li Fut, back in the days, there was always a big rival of what style was better, which led to a lot of, street fights and a lot of craziness that went on during that time and era.
And usually the Choy Li Fut people won.
I mean, you never know. I don't want to pick sides, but
yeah, I know. I just sometimes like
to every its own,
Yeah. I just sometimes like to pick on Wing Chun because Wing Chun these past few years got blown up too much by the media, and you guys know me. So, what is your goal now? Obviously, you have a pretty important role. What is your future plans with Choy Li Fut?
I mean, my future plan is to continue to train it. Mm-hmm. Most importantly, is to continue to teach it, no matter what. I mean, listen, it doesn't have to be within a school. It doesn't have to be within an association, but to still carry on the history of Choy Li Fut, because it's all built up off of history, off of dynasties, off of many battles, So no matter where I am, no matter what happens, I will always teach Choy Li Fut and train Choy Li Fut probably until the day
Yeah.
Till
the
that
day you
time.
go to Mars, basically.
Exactly.
So, last question. Did you ever take up swimming?
No, I never took up swimming, to believe it or not. I actually ended up learning to swim with family members over time. So, yeah, swimming wasn't always the key role for me in life.
I see. Okay, guys, so this is a good place to end off. I think we will definitely do more with this school. I think next time I gotta show you guys how, just like you walk in the school, you feel like there's endless possibilities. You guys have amazing, just the layout here. So I want to show you guys this. And probably what I'll do is after I end this talk, I'll get a few YouTube shorts with you and Josh. So
and one of the biggest things too that you don't see anywhere is that I think we should mention at least is that our school is, everything that we have around us in our school is all history. It's all been, over time, rewards, plaques, banners, been built up over time that we present in our school today.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely saw a lot of different types of celebrations, commemorations, etc. So we'll definitely do a more in-depth little run through of this school in the future. So I'm sure we will get Luke and Josh back in the future. So guys, I promise you guys, I'm gonna get started with Choy Li Fut, and this is my first time, right? Really kind of going to a school. Shout out Xavier Santana again, and we will talk to you guys in the future. Oh wow! By the way, shout out Bebop Gaming too. Okay, guys, this was Jerry. Fight Commentary Breakdowns. A lot more to come. Again, shout out